Ladies and gentlemen, he's Bogart, he's Wayne, he's everybody, but actually he's Mr. Rich Little.
I don't believe this. My whole act alive and well and living here at the MGM Grand. And this Ernest Borgnine down there. I don't want to go out with no girl tonight, Ma. And you want to know why? Because I'm ugly. And you want to know why I'm ugly? Because you and Paul were ugly, that's why.
So the pressure was really incredible on that show. There were a few people who did the roasts who just crumbled, you know. They got up there and they started talking and they looked over at all these greats and they just started mumbling and they just took them out of the show. Yeah, the most fun of doing the roasts was sitting in the green room before we taped the show. That was most fun because they were all in the green room having coffee and, you know, and chatting, and you get to talk to all these greats, you know. And then Dean would stick his head in and say, "Okay, everybody, let's get this over with." And then I can remember we walked to the dais, which was about 20 feet from the green room, to start the show. And as we're walking, Dean turns to me and says to me, "Rich, who are we honoring tonight?"
He didn't even know?
What? He said, who's the guest of honor? I said, Michael Landon. "Oh, that's a good choice. I like him. Yeah, we're going to have some fun."
It's been said that Michael Landon is the greatest talent in television today.
And I kept thinking to myself, you mean to tell me that a minute or two before taping the show, he didn't know who the guest of honor was? He really didn't care.
Were there any people in the world of politics and maybe Hollywood who went, I don't like when he imitates me?
Well, the only one I can think of is Paul Lynde on Hollywood Squares.
In what state was Abraham Lincoln born?
In what state?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like all of us, naked and screaming.
I thought he was going to hit me one night. I really did. I thought he was going to come out of the square, come over and hit me because he just hated it when I imitated him.
This is Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Square.
And he was a star of that show. He was always in the center square. But so you're on with him, you imitate him. So what happened? What'd you say?
Every time I imitated him on Hollywood Squares, and I did them a lot because he was such a popular impression. But every time I started to do him, the camera would cut to him and he'd go, "How's he doing? Who's that? That's disgusting. Get a day job." And he just hated it, you know.
This week we're at Tropicana in Las Vegas. We're at The Rich Little Show at the Laugh Factory. It's just upstairs. It's an hour of nostalgia. It's a reminiscent show, but you're in reverence throughout at the pure history of this performer. Rich Little is a star and a legend. He deserves his place here at the Laugh Factory at Tropicana in Las Vegas. Come and see him. It's an hour of your life that will remind you of better days of show business when legends existed and when stars were stars. The Rich Little Show.
One of the problems I have as an impersonator today, because I'm a lot older, is I'm losing my audience slowly, you know. Mm-hmm. As I get older, they get older. And, you know, a lot of them don't remember a lot of these people. So I appeal to people around my age group and a little younger, but a lot of young people come and see my show, have no idea who any of these people are. I had a 15-year-old kid sit down front the other night, and he was laughing his head off at my show. And I looked down and I went, I don't get this. I don't think he knows anybody I'm doing. He's only 15 years old or approximately. And when the show was over, I motioned him over and I said, "You seem to enjoy my show." He said, "Mr. Little, you're hysterical. I thought it was great, but I was confused." I said, "You were confused about what?" He said, "Well, as I watched you, I just wondered why you kept changing your voice."
That's my act, kid.
Isn't that a wonderful story?
When you look back on, what are you, in your 6th or 7th decade now of entertaining, when you look back at the people left in your wake who you got to meet, run into, become friends with, imitate, and act with, What's Rich Little think when he puts his head on the pillow at night and looks back
I
on?
think I'm very blessed to be still working, still have a fairly good mind, and you know, I have a picture on my wall here at home of the Dean Martin roast to Frank Sinatra, and when the roast was over, we all posed for a picture. So there's 20 celebrities in that picture. I have it on my wall, and every one of them is gone but me.
Isn't that something else?
And when I look at that picture, I go, I guess in a few years, people will look at that picture and go, who are these strange people?
But not that 15-year-old kid.
Not that 15-year-old kid, no.